the first match of the Pacific Nations Cup has just concluded. The Fijians getting themselves the big win over Samoa, 42 points to 16. This game looked very different at halftime, only 1 point in it. Second half though, Fiji, the much stronger team, and that is how they managed to get themselves their big win. But in this review, we'll be looking through at who scored the tries, who were the main players that did step up, and then also what is next for these two sides as they move forward throughout the comp. But first of all, brilliant performance from the Samoans in that first half. They were pushing the Fijians. They made a couple crucial errors though, and every time that they made a bad error, Fiji managed to score themselves a try, actually having two of them throughout the first half, one of which for Kitioni Salawa, and then the other for Osefo Masi. But Fiji overall throughout that first 40 didn't really look like they were in the best form, but that's not a bad thing. We're still early on in the competition. These two sides, of course, can get a lot better. For Samoa, they were strong with possession. They weren't giving that ball up. They were having some good breaking runs. Managed to get the try of Pesi Leilua. He was the only try scorer for Samoa, though, throughout this matchup. So going into halftime, it was 16 points to 15 in favour of Samoa. Second half came around. Fiji just looked like they were on a whole new level. Samoa, their discipline started to let them down. They had a couple yellow cards, and in the end, Samoa conceding a lot more tries than they would have wanted to throughout that second 40. But Kitioni Salawa got himself a hat-trick. 3 tries in total, 1 in the first half, 2 in the second. We saw Osefo Masi score, like I mentioned. Also, Frank Lamani got 1, and then on debut, Vuate Karawalevu also managing to get himself the try. But Samoa, their handling, I think is something that they'll definitely want to look at in the second half, something that could have been drastically improved. For Fiji, they took a while to get into the game, like I mentioned, but once they did, they showed some great signs. Maybe a little bit of ball security would be what they will be looking at for their next contest. Of course, they do not play next week. Samoa will be taking on the Tongans, followed then by Fiji versus Tonga. But these two sides, there will be things that they're happy with, things that they're not so happy with as they make their way forward in the competition. But just looking through at a few of the interesting stats, Samoa in that first half, they were extremely dominant. In terms of running meters, they had a lot more. In terms of penalties conceded, they had a lot less. Fiji's discipline at times letting them down in this first round of the Pacific Nations Cup. Yet in the end, Samoa had more yellow cards. So I would say going into the second half, not many would have predicted the outcome of 42 points to 16. Seemed like it was going to be a lot closer. But at the end of the day, Fiji looked like they wanted it a little bit more in front of a home crowd, and they got themselves over the line with a bonus point win up against this Manu Samoan side. But nonetheless, do let me know what you thought of the match in the comments down below. In terms of a man of the match, I would definitely give it to Kitioni Salawa, although I do feel Meri Derialangi, he was very good throughout this game. In terms of Muntz and Lamani, that combination seemed to be working quite nicely for the Fijians. For Samoa, we saw quite a bit of Murphy Taramai throughout this game, and also Malani Matavao having some very strong runs throughout this contest as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all for the next one.